Drivers, you've been betrayed by Uber Eats and you don't even realize it yet. I don't know if you've heard recently in the news, there's been a whistleblower, a software developer on Reddit. And I'm going to go over that article with you. I'm going to link it in the description as well. And what he reveals is truly shocking, to where you should not believe any food delivery app anymore, and especially Uber Eats. And then in light of that, it also inspired me. You've heard in the news about the quality learning centers that are out there. Well, based on this terrible information, I created my own quality learning center, and we're going to go over that. There's a badge on there you don't want to earn, and let's cover that here. Oh, and then also, I don't know if you've heard or realized how Uber Eats manipulates drivers on certain no-tip orders. More on that in a little bit. All right, I'm going to get into my iPad here, and then I'll put it up on the screen. You can pause the video. Actually, it'll be up right now. You can pause the video and read the entire article yourself. But I'm just going to go into some highlights that pertain to us as drivers. So you can see right here, 4 days ago, it's got a ton of views. In here, it talks about that we're suspicious of the algorithms, and the reality is much worse. This guy's a back-end engineer, and he sits in some weekly sprint planning meetings with the product managers discussing how to squeeze more money. And they're all very happy to do this. They're squeezing it out of us at drivers' expense. And within the company, they're all proud of this and happy that this is happening because they're earning more money at our expense. And basically, the guy just says, we're like resources in a video game instead of human beings, because we have bills to pay, rent. We're people too. Next, just briefly covering this because it doesn't really pertain. I've ordered food before and I saw this thing about a priority delivery that supposedly I get it faster. No way. As a driver, we already know that we're out and about receiving orders, and there's no such thing as some customer's going to get their order faster if they pay more money. That's just not true, because in all the apps, all those offers come in, we don't see a difference on time. It's just the next order to do. And right here, he calls it out and basically says that's just fraud, and that the company is just taking that money and actually harming the business, slowing down all the normal orders. So shame on this company. Also, then it says the thing that makes him sick, the reason he's quitting, this is actually very despicable. Talks about now they have a desperation score behind the scenes in the company. And it's basically talking about drivers. If we log on and all of a sudden we see the first order at $2 and $3 and we take it, then they flag us in their system a desperation score, because why would they want to pay us more money and give us good offers that come in instead of just letting us take all those $2 and $3 orders? And then right here, it talks about they give the good tips to casual drivers to hook them in and gamify their experience, while full-timers get grinded into dust. And that does bring up an interesting point. I've suspected that when new drivers are on, you get all the orders. And then after years, if you've been on, you actually don't get any priority. And sadly, these companies don't value our business because there's so many new drivers that keep coming on, so they get the good orders. But now, based on this desperation score, if we're accepting unprofitable orders, the company's happy to let us take them, and there's no high-paying orders out there. I'm sure you recall recently Uber Eats has tried to make it sound like if you accept all orders and get to that highest tier, they're giving you the opportunity to get more money. And so far, based on feedback from you, that's not happening. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to do it again. I did it for 2 years. I took every offer. It's not going to happen again. And I advise you, do not do that as well. So this is just yet another lie, another deceiving thing that these companies are doing. And then this is sad as well. It's very frustrating. There's a benefit fee. So when the customers are paying this $1.50 fee, a regulatory response fee or driver's benefit fee, he's saying this does not go to the driver. Instead, it goes to their legal department so this company can fight against unions and drivers trying to assert their rights to make more money. So shame on that company for doing that. And then finally, it talks about tips, and it says tip theft 2.0, and he says they can't legally steal them anymore. So right there, that tells you this is DoorDash. But I'm going to get into why this could easily be Uber Eats as well. And instead, what they're doing, I'm sure you've noticed this too, a lot of the apps, the base pay has gone down when a customer tips really well. Why would the company want to turn away money and give it to the driver? So what they've been doing is in the algorithm, lowering the base pay when a customer tips. So then as a driver, we don't notice the difference. We just see it as a good order and we take it. And so the company can just save money and allow the customer to pay more by paying a higher tip and, of course, all the fees that they normally pay. So shame on that company. Shame on Uber Eats for this kind of stuff as well. And that gets right into the the Quality Learning Center of Uber Eats. And I felt compelled to make this based on my experience. So let's just look through it. And first, this is exactly why this software developer who quit now could have easily been working for Uber Eats. We recognize patterns as drivers. When you're new, you have this great idea that you can trust the company, that they're there for you. Uber Eats is not there for you. So right away, I recognize this pattern in behavior, and I could have easily thought this was Uber Eats, the company doing this. And obviously, he doesn't say which one it is, but we know that DoorDash got sued for stealing tips. So anyway, let's get into our version of this Quality Learning Center that Dara supports at Uber Eats. And you can see right here, notice the nice colors, and there's some A, B, C, D. So the very first one is A. What they want you to do is accept all offers. Do not do that. You will drive your car into the ground, clearly based on this back-end engineer talking about them targeting drivers that take low pay. They're not going to send you higher paying offers, and you don't have to take every order. Instead, what I recommend is only take profitable orders. That way, at least you stand a chance to make money. Because remember how he said they grind the full-time drivers into dust, the ones that just foolishly take every offer. Don't do that, and don't believe that Uber Eats is going to actually look out for you as the driver if you're at their top tier. And again, I will just say, I do this part-time. I've been doing it for 7 years. So maybe they do it if you're a full-time driver and you solely drive for Uber Eats all the time. But that's not my case, and it's never going to be that way because I'm multi-app. So let's look at this next one here. You have A, B, C, D, E. Believe us. In this Quality Learning Center at Uber Eats run by Dara, do not believe them. Now, based on this whistleblower sharing this information about one company, you know they do it to all the rest as well. And then finally, you can see here, C, complaining is disloyal. You do not want to disappoint the dear leader here. You don't want to disappoint him. So complaining is being disloyal. And then finally here, this is that badge that you don't want to earn. And when they're flagging us in the system as a desperate driver, no, we do not want that badge, and you don't want it either. How insulting when you're going out of your way to work for a company, and then not only do they not appreciate you, they don't respect you, and then they abuse you. And again, all the money that we're making is for delivering food. No one is paying us for our car. That's on you as the independent contractor. So to answer his main point in this article, when you apply it to Uber Eats, look in California or any state where they've passed a law to pay the drivers more money, to force the company to pay more money. Do you realize that Uber Eats, any of these companies from the beginning, they can choose how much they want to pay the driver. So that tells you they are choosing to pay us what they do. Why does it take legal action to force them to do something different? And yes, it has worked out nicely in California, the Prop 22 money that supplements our income. In many other states, you don't have this. And you know what? Uber Eats doesn't care. So here in California, it took legal action. And I'm not even going to get into free market or government involvement in things. That's out of scope for this. But I will say, why did Uber Eats and many of the other gig app companies fund fighting against Prop 22 with millions of dollars? They were spending tons of money that they could have been paying drivers to fight against having to pay more money. Since then, they continue to choose to pay us what they do. They continue to lower the base pay. So think about that when you want to believe them or trust them. I wouldn't do it. In fact, please share in the comments right now, what do you think about this so far? Have you seen this on Reddit yet? And I will link it in the description. It is pretty sad. And let me know if you're a new driver or an experienced driver, if this is a surprise to you. And I think this is going to help all drivers who read your comments, and you're going to realize I'm not just making something up. I've been doing this for many years, and this is just another sad example that it takes a whistleblower to out these companies and just highlight how bad they are. And Uber Eats doesn't care, because you know what? If they burn through drivers and they quit, there's so many new drivers that just come right on in. They have no idea about learning about this on YouTube or other platforms, and they just take every offer unless they wise up and only do profitable ones. The second main point that is interesting about this, people like to talk about the algorithm or artificial intelligence, and yeah, that is helpful, but keep in mind that when we do our jobs, the computer does not do our job. We do our jobs. The computers help us. And that's no different at Uber Eats or any other company. So when they are in those meetings and applauding the extra money that's coming in at our expense, and they can't say that it was the algorithm or AI did something. No, they're in charge at the company. Their employees work at the company. That means human beings know about it, they approve it, they definitely support it, and they applaud it. So shame on them. This is yet another reason why you should not trust Uber Eats. The only thing that you can trust is that whatever you're in control of as an independent contractor, that's it. So I always recommend only take profitable orders. Finally, we continue to be manipulated, and I discovered this recently on Uber Eats. There's a certain type of order that when the customer does not give a tip, Uber Eats manipulates us. And I discovered that, and I want to share that with you. By this whistleblower coming forth, and just from our own experience of seeing how these companies behave, you should not trust Uber Eats. But I do want to share that with you. I've got good news. I've made a video going into all the details of that certain type of no-tip order. And what you're going to come away with is a way to recognize when this is happening, and then you can choose if you want to take it or not. So watch that video next, and I'll see you there.